Hello everyone, SquaredCircle Wrestling is back with another episode which includes Kenny Omega promised a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 if he signs with WWE. Backstage news on CM Punk's AEW locker room reputation. Lacey Evans selling sex. New world title belt for AEW Collision. WWE is reportedly planning to introduce more new titles around SummerSlam 2023. Goldberg could join AEW soon. And much more. You can check the complete list with time chapters in the description box below. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest news. Our top news for today looks at Kenny Omega promised a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 if he signs with WWE. WWE is reportedly interested in signing AEW megastar Kenny Omega for a blockbuster match against Roman Reigns, and it could happen as early as 2025. Kenny Omega's current deal with AEW is reportedly set to expire imminently. Despite many reports indicating that he will probably re-sign with the Tony Khan's promotion, Omega could snub AEW in favor of joining WWE. According to Zero News via WrestleBuddy, Omega has been promised a potential match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 should he decide to leave AEW. There has been some talks about it. It's very early talks. If Omega doesn't re-sign with AEW, then that's the mega match that they want to do, and it may be the way of enticing him to come in. If he's the one that finally gets to dethrone Roman. Would you like to see Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, backstage news on CM Punk's AEW locker room reputation. Due to Punk's well-known issues with the Elite, AEW bought back Punk while avoiding any potential conflict stemming from Punk's backstage fight with Omega and the Young Bucks at All Out 2022 last September. By bringing the former two-time AEW World Champion back on Collision, it has allowed AEW to use some different talents on the Saturday night show that are different from who we see on Dynamite and Rampage. According to veteran wrestling journalist Wade Keller of PW Torch, CM Punk is showing good leadership on AEW Collision. Keller wrote more about Punk taking his role as a leader seriously. He stated, "The word from backstage at Collision is that he is taking seriously that this is his show and he's taking pride in putting his stamp on the on-air product and off-air vibe in the locker room. Our sources don't necessarily reflect the views of everyone in the back, and some may have different experiences that are less positive. But overall the vibe appears to be moving in the right direction after some tension in his first week back related to his early dig at the Young Bucks. There has been no such insider digs in his promos since his first week back, alluding to the issues he had with the Elite and others in the past." Next up, new world title belt for AEW Collision. AEW star Andrade took to Twitter to declare his pleasure in being a mainstay on the new Collision show, mentioning that the first 3 episodes have been spectacular and that he is happy to have internal competition amongst AEW's brands. Andrade previously mentioned that he wanted Tony Khan to have separate championship belts for the Collision show. He then added that they could have the championship that CM Punk never lost as their new world title. The Second City Savior alluded to still being in possession of the world title during his first appearance on AEW Collision last month, carrying something in a velvet bag to the ring that many assume was his world championship belt. Next up, Drew McIntyre advised to leave WWE after his contract expires. Drew McIntyre's contract is set to expire in early 2024, and there were rumors floating about whether the former WWE champion will remain with the company or sign with AEW. Vince Russo, on the latest episode of Legion of Raw, suggested that Drew should take time off after his contract expires. He claimed that the Scottish Warrior could enjoy life outside of the squared circle and return to a much bigger payday and better booking in a few years. He said, "When you're in a position like Drew, and let's face it, Drew's a millionaire. Drew's got a crap load of money. Drew knows he's getting booked like crap, and his value is less and less. I know Drew's contract was up or something to that effect. If you're Drew, why not let your contract expire? Take some time off, enjoy life, do whatever you want to do, then come back fresh in a couple of years. You know they're gonna pay you through the you-know-what. Hopefully, at that time things are better." Next up, backstage update on the relationship between FTR and the Elite. CM Punk and the Elite were kept at completely different sides of the arena at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Many have pondered what the relationship is like between the Elite and FTR. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler are close friends of CM Punk, and FTR these days find themselves once again paired up with the former AEW World Champion since his return to action on AEW Collision's premiere. For those wondering if the muddled relationship CM Punk has with the Elite has effect on relation between Elite and FTR, that is seemingly not the case. Dave Meltzer, speaking on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, noted how things are fine between FTR and the Elite. FTR and Omega, the Young Bucks, they're all fine. Some people think it's like this divide with Punk and FTR against these guys. With Punk, there's still fence mending that needs to be done for them to work together and everything like that. It could happen, it may not happen. Time will tell. But with FTR, it's fine. There's nothing at all that would hold up if they want to do a tag team title program at some point tomorrow. Everyone's cool with that. FTR worked really hard on that too. They went out of their way to get that done. There was stuff there, of course, but it was not nearly as bad of an issue as it was with Punk. It was much easier to mend. So anyway, that's all taken care of. Next up, Booker T calls top AEW star the perfect guy for Sting's retirement match. After spending decades in the world of professional wrestling, Sting has made it clear that his in-ring days are numbered. The 64-year-old star hasn't disclosed when he plans to retire, but fellow Hall of Famer Booker T believes that the top AEW star would be the perfect opponent for the Icon's final match. Booker T, speaking on a recent episode of his Hall of Fame podcast, had this to say when asked for his thoughts on Chris Jericho as a potential retirement opponent for Sting. He said, "If it was a match to go out on, the guy to actually do it with. You couldn't find a better guy than Chris Jericho. He knows Chris can go out there and take him to that place that he wants to go and take him to that place to where he's seen a certain way, especially in his last match. I think if anybody can do that and get that done, it would be Jericho. I'm sure one of the younger guys on that roster can go out there and get it done just as well. But I think if I had to trust someone to actually really get that job done, me in my final match, that final curtain call, the guy to do it with is Chris Jericho." Next up, AJ Styles talks retirement plans. Former two-times WWE champion AJ Styles, speaking with Alistair Majorge of Metro, described how it would be easy for him to hang up his boots, as he looks forward to spending time with his family, and would like to spend time at the Performance Center and working with the young talent there. He said, "I think that we bust our tail in this ring so that we can enjoy spending time that we have lost for so many years. That's what retirement's all about. Once it's over, I think it's gonna be easy for me to go, okay, I did what I was supposed to do. I fought as hard as I could for as long as I could to the point where I hopefully didn't embarrass myself. At the same time, the fruits of your labor are where you're gonna enjoy that now. That's what it's all about. No more missing birthdays, high school, elementary school stuff. I'm gonna be there as a father to see that. I've missed enough." While the former world champion enjoyed this aspect of his absence, he made it clear that he was inspired by spending time at the WWE Performance Center and working with the young talent there. Being down at the Performance Center getting cleared and reevaluated. Being there 2 times in the months that I was trying to recover from my injury. It really inspired me to see how excited they were to get better. Being able to be with them and show them little tricks that I've found out over the years and share that information was a blessing. It inspired me to make the rest of my career the best it possibly could be. Next up, Lacey Evans selling sex. WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter, during a recent interview with Sportskeeda, criticized Evans again for using sex appeal as part of her military persona. Sergeant Slaughter is once again voicing his issues with Lacey Evans and her current persona. SmackDown star Lacey Evans usually wears military-colored gear that shows off her bountiful assets, and Sergeant Slaughter has a problem with that. He said, "I kinda just dropped it. I didn't watch it SmackDown any further. My daughter kinda got a little upset that now she's coming out with the campaign cover on and she's got a big cobra on the front of it, and she's got her outfit on and showing a lot of cleavage. To me, that's selling sex. That's not selling that you're a tough SOB from the Marine Corps. She should have a t-shirt on and have the combat boots on and have those fatigues on. If you want to emulate Sergeant Slaughter and you're from the Marine Corps and you're a drill instructor, act like one. D1. Next up, CM Punk getting the Cena treatment in AEW. WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray, on the latest Busted Open Radio, says that AEW is giving CM Punk the Cena treatment, and he approves of the notion. Bully talked about how Punk's divisive crowd reactions is something that AEW is leaning into. He said, "I thoroughly enjoyed Kojima vs. Punk, and Punk right now is getting the Cena treatment. Whether they love you or whether they hate you, they have some kind of an emotional response to you. Now there's a twofold scenario going on with Punk. People who are going to want to see Punk and cheer him. People who are going to buy tickets to see CM Punk and boo him. What's the common denominator? Buy tickets." Next up, WWE is reportedly planning to introduce more new titles around SummerSlam 2023. WWE SummerSlam is one of the biggest events for the company. According to a new report, the promotion has plans to introduce new titles for their tag team divisions this August. Last year, Vince McMahon chose to unify the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championship when the Usos defeated RK Bro. Triple H also decided to unify the NXT and WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler became the unified Women's Tag Team Champions. However, the new regime is reportedly not on board with the idea of unifying the men's titles. According to a new report from Zero News, WWE will introduce 3 new tag team titles with 2 men's and 1 women's titles before and after SummerSlam respectively. The new men's tag titles should be ready and presented for just before SummerSlam. The new women's tag titles should be after the men's, very likely just after SummerSlam. Next up, Goldberg could join AEW soon. WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, speaking on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Time Machine, discussed Goldberg's wrestling future. He also explained why he thinks the former Universal Champion could join AEW very soon. He said, "Bill is a guy that's been around this business a long time. He listened. He learned a lot from Bret Hart about working with him for a while, so I think if they can come up with something for Bill in AEW, I don't know whether he's under contract to WWE or not, but you know everybody got a price, man. I think if they offered Bill the right money, he may make an appearance. What has he got to lose? Why not? And that is all for today's news. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel Squared Circle Wrestling for all the latest updates.